God is good for real, man. God, on a serious note, God is good, bro. On God, I knew it though. I can't even count like I ain't know it. On mine, I can't even count. I ain't want to believe it though. You know how it be, bro. Don't know you don't want to believe they fucking off on them. Trust me, it's going on, bitch. It's happening. On God, don't ever think this can't happen to you. Don't give a fuck who you will be. We all fuck off. We all fuck off. I ain't some shit you just don't do. I'm ready tonight. Who first? Who first? Who first?
Y'all not gonna like what I'm finna say, but I'm gonna say it. If you get caught in another man's house with his wife or his girlfriend and he unalive you, that's nobody's fault but yours.
And then that man got a wife and kids at home. He had other shit. He should have been the at work. He had no motherfucking money for a hotel, bitch. You couldn't fuck her in the car? Bitch, fuck her at the, I don't know, at the lake.
Look, if you get caught in another man's house with his wife, that's on you, period. But when a 39-year-old married coach ends up dead in a 21-year-old's bed while her boyfriend comes home from work, girl, that's a whole different conversation we need to have. What happened in Birmingham, Alabama turned a regular Wednesday night into something that got the whole community talking. And chilly, the more details that came out, the messier this whole situation got. Let me break down the three people at the center of this tragedy because each one of them played a part in how this all went down. First up, we got Demetrius Darnell Beverly. Everybody called him Coach Meat. 39 years old, married with kids, and working as an assistant football coach at Parker High School. Now, this wasn't just some random dude off the streets. Beverly actually had his own football background. Played college ball at University of Arkansas Pine Bluff from 2003 to 2007. He was even part of their 2006 championship team. After his playing days ended, he came back home to Birmingham and found his calling mentoring young men through coaching. Seemed like the type of guy parents would trust with their kids, you know? Then we got Jamia Lawson, 21 years old, former Parker High School student who graduated and was trying to figure out life like most young adults. But here's where it gets interesting. Beverly started coaching at Parker High in 2020, which means when he got there, Jamia would have been around 16 and still in school. Now, we ain't saying nothing happened back then, but that timeline definitely got people side-eyeing the whole situation. And finally, the Corellian Keyshawn Robinson, 23 years old. This young man was Jamia's boyfriend, working hard, trying to provide for his household. By all accounts, he thought he was in a committed relationship with this girl. Man was out here grinding, coming home from work, thinking everything was good at home. Now, before we get into what went down that night, we need to talk about some old social media posts that painted a real clear picture of how certain people thought about relationships. Beverly had been posting things on Facebook for years that, looking back now, seem like red flags waving in the wind. Back in 2012, he wrote, "She said she got a boyfriend. I say, so you want another one? Lol." At the time, his friends probably thought it was just jokes. But 13 years later, that same mentality would literally cost him his life. And that wasn't the only post. This man wrote things like, if you got two girls and can't choose between them, either flip a coin or have a bedroom tiebreaker. I'm just saying. And get this, if I can build my perfect girl, she would have my ex-girlfriend's ways, my after-college girl's looks, have a body like the track star I dated, and have the brains of the nerd I cheated off of. My perfect girl. Girl, when these posts started circulating after what happened, people weren't laughing anymore. They started seeing them for what they really were. Evidence of a man who didn't respect boundaries, who thought it was perfectly fine to go after women who were already taken. But Beverly wasn't the only one with concerning social media activity. Robinson had his own post from back in 2020 when he was just 8, next to a video of a weapon being fired. He wrote something that now feels like a warning sign of the anger that was building inside this young man. So now we get to August 13th, 2025, the night everything fell apart. According to what investigators pieced together, Beverly was inside the Lakeshore Ridge apartments with Jamia. Some folks say he might have come through the balcony to avoid the Ring camera at the front door, but that ain't been officially confirmed. What we do know for sure is that Robinson came home from work earlier than usual that Wednesday night. And when he walked into his bedroom, let me tell you something, what he saw changed everything. There was Beverly, this nearly 40-year-old married man, in bed with his 21-year-old girlfriend. Now, I want y'all to really picture this moment. Robinson is 23, working hard, thinking he's got a faithful woman at home. He comes through his own front door, walks into his own bedroom, and finds his girl with another man. Not just any man, a married coach old enough to be her father, somebody who should have known better. What happened next lasted maybe a few minutes, but the consequences are gonna last forever. Robinson didn't just walk away. He didn't just start swinging. No, he went and got a weapon. But here's the thing that's going to make his legal situation so much worse. This wasn't just any regular gun. This weapon had what they call a switch on it, an illegal modification that makes it fire rapidly, multiple times in quick succession. Beverly got hit multiple times and died right there in that bedroom. Jamia made the 911 call. When police rolled up, they found Beverly unresponsive. And Robinson, he didn't even try to run. They arrested him right there in the apartment complex parking lot. Robinson got charged with murder and unlawful possession of a firearm conversion device. He's sitting in Jefferson County Jail, and initially they weren't giving him no bond. But chilly, things done changed since then, because this young man just got released on bond and went live on social media. And what he said, it tells you everything you need to know about his state of mind.
I ain't trying to keep none of these. I can't take that hurt no more. God is good for real, man. God is, on a serious note, God is good, bro. On God, I knew it though. I can't even count like I ain't know it. On mine, I can't even count. I ain't want to believe it though. You know how it be, bro. Don't know they want to believe they fucking off on them. Trust me, it's going on, bitch. It's happening. On God, don't ever think this can't. Don't give a who you is, bitch. We all fuck off. We all fuck off. I ain't some shit you just don't do. I'm ready tonight. Who first? Who first? Who first?
You can hear the pain in his voice. This young man knew something wasn't right, but like he said, didn't want to believe it. And that's real talk right there. Sometimes we know in our gut that something's off, but we try to convince ourselves we're just being paranoid. Moving on to how the community reacted, because chilly, the internet had a whole lot to say about this situation. Now, while Beverly's family, his students, and his coaching colleagues were mourning the loss of somebody they saw as a mentor and positive influence, the internet, the internet had a completely different energy about this whole situation. See, when people started digging into the timeline of when Beverly and Jamia's relationship might have started, things got real uncomfortable real fast. Remember, Beverly came back to coach at Parker High School in 2020. Jamia was a student there, and she would have been about 16 years old when he started working there. Beverly was 34 at the time. Now, we don't have no proof that anything inappropriate happened while she was still in school, but the optics, girl, the optics looked terrible. People started asking hard questions. When did this relationship really begin? Was there grooming involved? How does a former student end up messing around with her former coach just a few years after graduation? These questions got even louder when folks realized Beverly's nickname was Coach Meat. Some people found that ironic given how he died. Others found it straight up disturbing. But Beverly's family wasn't about to let the internet drag his name through the mud without fighting back. His cousin jumped on social media to defend him, and let me tell you, she had a whole lot to say about the situation.
Somebody got to speak
ain't
for
no
him.
free nothing.
Get
They
what?
going down for
We
something.
still gonna say free him, cause like I said, I'm praying for his family too. You know why? Cause that girl put my cousin
Y'all
in a
ain't
fucked up
pray for
situation.
ours, though.
Get what? You don't know what that family did. Wait a minute, Toy. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
We seen a lot of shit.
Wait a minute. Let me say this, cause I'm damn near 40. I'm a real bitch. Get what? I'ma pray for his family. What? I ain't gonna do that, Toy. I'm a real. I ain't doing that. I ain't doing that. I'm a real. I'm a real. Get what? Get what? I'm 10 for tattoo to a certain. I got common sense. So get what? Get what? I'm gonna pray for his family too. You know why? That girl put my cousin and that boy in a situation. Praying for his family too, cause it's fucked up. Fucked up. I'm a real. Y'all fucked up and thought that boy was gonna get off on. I been knew. Why y'all think I been sent back? We been talking to the detective. We already knew what was up. Why y'all think I ain't been saying it for real? Cause I already knew. That's why I been sitting back. Y'all been dogging my cousin out. Y'all been sharing him and his wife. Them folks not confrontational. They don't do Facebook. Y'all talking all that shit. Somebody, that girl love her husband. Through all of it. Yeah, she's hurt. Yeah, she hurt, but get what? She's a real. She know how this shit go. Right. Y'all hoes know how this shit go. Hold on. I ain't got the share. Yes, they do. Y'all shit go. Y'all niggas be cheating. Y'all hoes fuck with married niggas. I know plenty. Hold up, Toy. Just please let me pop my shit for my cousin. Get what? Y'all hoes be trying to act like y'all loud. I'm on here looking jet. This right here the real me. I don't give a. Y'all hoes been hurting my feelings all day. My cousin Meek and Sade, like my brother and sister. I've been watching y'all dog my cousin out all day long. Hurt my feelings. But get what? I ain't shut up still. I just been looking and watching. Because I already knew. Y'all on Clubhouse saying, Dare, take them to the store, please. Y'all on Clubhouse saying, oh, a dead man can't talk. Y'all on Clubhouse saying, oh, she gonna stand with her nigga. But guess who she stand with? Guess who she stood with? The dead nigga. Guess who she stood with? Guess why that boy got that charges? She stood with the dead nigga. My cousin is a good nigga. He just made a bad choice.
And that's the thing that's got people so divided about this case. Was Beverly a good man who made one terrible decision? Or was this the inevitable result of years of not respecting other people's relationships? Now let's talk about why Robinson's legal situation is so much more complicated than just a simple crime of passion case. Because a lot of folks keep saying he should walk free because any man would have reacted the same way. But the law don't work like that, especially not in Alabama. Robinson isn't just facing murder charges, he's also charged with unlawful possession of a firearm conversion device, that switch I mentioned earlier. This is a federal offense, and it's what's probably going to destroy any chance he has of claiming this was just a heat-of-the-moment reaction. See, if Robinson had used a regular weapon, his lawyers might have been able to argue that he came home, saw another man in his bed, and just reacted without thinking. That's classic crime of passion defense, and it's worked in similar cases before. But that switch changes everything. It allows the weapon to fire rapidly, multiple times back to back. To prosecutors, that suggests this wasn't just a momentary loss of control. This was excessive force. And the fact that he already had an illegal weapon modification, that suggests either premeditation or at least a pattern of dangerous behavior. Legal experts are saying Robinson could be looking at decades in prison, not just for the shooting, but for that federal weapons charge that comes with having that switch. Here's something a lot of people don't understand about crime of passion laws in Alabama. Just because you catch somebody in bed with your partner doesn't automatically give you the right to eliminate them. Crime of passion only applies under very specific circumstances. If you have to leave the room to go get a weapon, any weapon, it's no longer considered crime of passion. The law says passion of the moment only counts if you already had the weapon on you and you didn't have to go nowhere to get it. Soon as you walk out that room to grab something, legally speaking, you had time to think about what you were about to do. And even if they did consider it a crime of passion, that don't mean you're getting off scot-free. It just means they might reduce your sentence because of the circumstances. But here's the real kicker. In Alabama, if you commit a killing while you're also committing another felony, that can be charged as a capital offense. Robinson having that illegal switch, that's a felony all by itself. So now prosecutors could argue that Beverly's death happened during the commission of another felony, which opens the door to much more serious charges. Meanwhile, let's talk about the people who got hurt the most in all this, the families that got torn apart. Beverly's wife didn't just lose her husband. She lost him in the most humiliating way possible. Think about it. She found out about his death and his cheating at the exact same time. Imagine getting that phone call. Your husband is dead, and by the way, he died in another woman's bed. This woman now has to explain to her children why daddy ain't coming home. She's dealing with grief and betrayal simultaneously, and she's got to do it while the whole community is talking about her business. The whispers, the social media posts, the judgment. She's dealing with all of that on top of planning a funeral. Beverly students at Parker High School are struggling too. These were young men who looked up to Coach Meat, who saw him as a role model, somebody who taught them about discipline and making good choices. Now they gotta reconcile the man they knew with the man who died in another man's bedroom. The timing made it even worse. Beverly died just 1 week before the Stop the Violence Classic, an annual game designed to promote unity and safer communities. The irony wasn't lost on nobody that a coach who preached about making good decisions became a victim of the very violence the event was supposed to prevent. But you know who else is suffering? Robinson's family. This young man went from working and providing for his household to sitting in jail facing murder charges. His family's watching their son's life get destroyed because of choices other people made. And after everything that went down after Robinson got arrested and Beverly was dead, Jamia Lawson deactivated her Facebook page. But before she did, word is she allegedly made posts that seemed to show more loyalty to Beverly than to her own boyfriend, who was now facing murder charges because of her actions. That right there tells you everything you need to know about where her heart really was. Now here's where this story really gets the community divided, because people got strong opinions about who's most to blame in this whole mess. You got one side saying Robinson was completely justified.
Y'all not gonna like what I'm finna say, but I'm gonna say it. If you get caught in another man's house with his wife or his girlfriend and he unalive you, that's nobody's fault but yours.
If a man come home into his home and find another man in his motherfucking home, what do you expect that motherfucking man to do? We always talk about we want somebody to protect and provide. This motherfucking man, 23 years old, was providing because he was at work. He came home early and he felt that 39-year-old coach in the bed with his wife or girlfriend, whoever she may be. And what did you expect that man to fucking do? Y'all always talk about somebody could have walked away and woody this and woody that. But bitch, you never know until you in them motherfucking shoes. This man was going to work, providing for his motherfucking family. Then he come home to a nigga in his motherfucking bed with his woman. And then that motherfucking man got a wife and kids at fucking home. He had other shit. He should have been the fuck at work. He had no motherfucking money for a hotel, bitch. You couldn't fuck her in the car? Bitch, fuck her at the, I don't know, at the lake. Y'all gotta stop motherfucking picking and choosing when the fuck y'all want to feel like something's right. I'm sorry that man had to lose his life. But he had no business in them fucking people home, yo. No business. He got a motherfucking woman at home. If she ain't enough for him, he need to get rid of her ass.
And you know what? That perspective makes sense to a lot of people. Robinson was working, trying to provide, thinking he had a faithful woman at home. From his point of view, he was the victim first. But then you got the other side saying Robinson was dead wrong for taking somebody's life, period. They're pointing out that Beverly, despite his poor choices, didn't deserve to die. They're saying there were other ways to handle the situation. Robinson could have thrown both of them out. He could have just left. He could have handled it without violence. Then there's a whole group of people saying Jamia should be facing charges too. He should be a free man, and his girl should be locked up because she was the accomplice in this. She was the reason it happened, and she was the initiator, man. I don't care what nobody say. Arrest that girl. Because without her, none of this would even happen. And honestly, they got a point. Jamia created this whole situation. She's the one who was in a relationship with Robinson while messing around with Beverly. She's the one who brought a married man into her boyfriend's home, into his bed. Some folks saying she's just as responsible for Beverly's death as the person who pulled the trigger. But here's what Beverly's uncle had to say about his nephew's relationship with Jamia. According to the uncle, Beverly had told Jamia that he was, quote, unhappy with his wife.
See, you don't know S. My niece had to get a second job. Maybe she didn't know all of this would have happened, but his grown A knew better. Don't blame the child, the niece who was 21 years old, when he was 39, and he was also unhappy with his wife. That's not my niece's fault.
So now we're finding out that Beverly wasn't just having some casual fling. He was telling this young woman he was unhappy in his marriage, making it seem like he was serious about building something with her. That adds another layer to this whole situation. Was Beverly manipulating a young woman with promises he never intended to keep? But let's step back and look at the bigger picture here, because this tragedy was completely preventable. Multiple people made multiple bad choices that led to this outcome. If Beverly had stayed home with his wife and children instead of pursuing a young woman barely out of her teens, none of this happens. If Jamia had ended her relationship with Robinson before starting something with Beverly, or if she told Beverly she wasn't available, none of this happens. If Robinson had walked away instead of reaching for that weapon, none of this happens. Any one of those different choices could have prevented all this devastation, but they didn't make those choices. And now we got a dead coach, a young man facing life in prison, a widow trying to pick up the pieces, children without their father, and a community forced to confront some uncomfortable truths about respect, accountability, and consequences. People need to stop making excuses for bad behavior. Everything we do, good or bad, has consequences. Beverly learned that the hard way. Remember that Facebook post from 2012? She said she got a boyfriend. I say, so you want another one? LOL. That wasn't just a joke. That was a mindset. A mindset that other people's relationships didn't matter. That boundaries were just suggestions. That he could take what he wanted without facing any consequences. For 13 years, that mindset worked out just fine for him. Until the night it didn't. As this case continues to move through the courts, the questions it raises aren't going anywhere. Was this a crime of passion that deserves sympathy? Was Robinson wrong for taking someone's life regardless of the circumstances? Should Jamia face charges for her role in creating this situation? Was Beverly a good man who made a bad choice, or was this tragedy the inevitable result of years of disrespecting other people's relationships? The truth is, every perspective in this story tells a different truth. Robinson's pain is real, that young man's heart got shattered and his whole life got destroyed because of it. Beverly's family's grief is real. They lost someone they loved, and they're dealing with his mistakes becoming public in the worst way possible. Beverly's wife's devastation is real. She's been betrayed and widowed at the same time. And his children's loss is real. They'll grow up without their father because of choices he made. But here's what we know for sure. One choice, one night, rewrote everybody's future forever. The choices we make don't just affect us, they affect everybody who loves us, everybody who depends on us, everybody whose life is connected to ours. So I want to hear from y'all in the comments. What do you think about this case? Was Robinson justified? Should Jamia face charges? And what about Beverly? Was he a victim of his own poor choices? Drop your thoughts below, because this is one of those stories where every angle makes you think differently about accountability, consequences, and how one night can change everything. Rest in peace to Demetrius Beverly, and prayers for everyone whose lives got shattered by the choices made that Wednesday night in Birmingham. Stay safe out there, and remember, the decisions we make today determine the stories that get told about us tomorrow. Make sure yours is one you can live with. That's it for this episode of Unheard Cries TV. Until next time, keep your eyes open and your hearts protected, because these streets don't forgive, and neither do the consequences of our choices.